This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Gamefly. Ben Affleck directs and stars in this period thriller based on true events. Today we check out Argo.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Totally Rad Show. We've got a great week today. We are taking a look at Ben Affleck's new movie, Argo.
Yes, and tomorrow we've got a video game that just came out recently. Everybody's talking about it, and now we will too. It's Dishonored.
Then on Wednesday, we all were big fans of the first run of American Horror Story, and now we are set to chat about American Horror Story Asylum.
Correct. Thursday, we're going to hear from this guy. Actually, yes, we are going to hear from this guy who went to New York City to take a look at some of EA's titles, and we get to watch about Need for Speed, which I'm very excited about.
Exactly. And then Friday, we're keeping the horror train a-rolling. Paranormal Activity 4 is coming out. We're talking about it. It's that time of year for the horror stuff, and we got a cool
coming up.
kind of horror-esque
horror-y
background.
yeah.
It's actually Lost Room, which is kind of a thrillery, scary kind of deal.
Jeremy Linden, right? Isn't that it?
Jeremy Linden. If you want to be like Jeremy and have your background featured on our show, where do they send it?
Fans at TotallyRadShow.com.
Hey, I also want to tell you about a new web series that I'm in, a new comedy web series that I'm in. It's just debuted. The second episode has just been released. It's got a few more to go. You can check it out. You can find it at my website, jeffcannata.com. It's called Ground Game, and it's on the Yom Yom F channel on YouTube.
On the YouTubes.
But it's the easy way to find it is go to jeffcannata.com. I have the links to the episodes. I'd love to hear what you think about it, so check it out and
take a gander, as it were. All right, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Today in movies, we are talking about Argo. Argo is based on a true story set in the late 70s, early 80s, the Iran hostage crisis in the American embassy in Iran, in Tehran. And it is directed by Ben Affleck, who's only directed 2 movies prior to this, both of which we've adored on the show. And it's already got a lot of Oscar buzz abound. Did I say Oscar? I did.
Oscar buzz, which is
Oscar buzz.
The infant Oscars that they give out.
Right.
I don't know
either. So Oscar buzz is the word. The movie is Argo, hostage crisis. You know, it is part heist movie, part hostage crisis movie like a Munich or Delta Force, and part political thriller.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. The ploy being that they are going to get hostages out of Iran by coming up with making a fake movie production that the hostages will have been members of.
Me a little of Wag the Dog in a little bit.
Or there's that movie with Alex Baldwin, The Last Shot, that I wonder if it was. I thought that was based on a true story too, where the FBI had to put on a fake movie production.
Yeah, interesting.
It was Matthew Broderick and anyway.
I don't think I ever saw that.
You never saw that? It's a very movie. So, yes, those are the details.
Yes, the CIA gets involved with creating a fake movie.
Right.
As a cover.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yes. Good pause for effect. Argo I had a great time watching it. I like these kinds of movies, these taut, tense political thrillers that this movie starts right away with a really engaging, really intense scene that mixes stock footage of the real event with recreated new footage that they've done, and really pulls you into that time period, pulls you into how high the stakes were at that time in that location. And right from the word go, I was in this thing. And the movie does an amazing job of walking this tightrope of tone. Tonally, it shifts between extremely serious, deadly, real-world, scary kind of, politics to this wacky, like, look how silly Hollywood is, almost comedy moments, almost a send up of
The movie industry.
The movie industry, and especially for us, you know, there's a lot of jokes that hit home for us. I mean, it's shot like right down the street, half of it, and but it does so really deftly, and it switches back and forth between those tones so quickly, and it's a rare thing that a movie is able to do that. In fact, there's one scene in particular that really, I think, illustrates that point. Ben Affleck's character is at this ridiculous Hollywood event, and he's drinking wine, and we go from laughing at how ridiculous and over the top this Hollywood event is, and a waiter comes and takes his glass of wine, and the camera follows the waiter into the back room and then lands on a television showing the events that are happening in Iran. And we are, I mean, literally taken in one shot from ha 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 ridiculous to, oh my God, this is the other thing that's happening with characters that we know in this film. And to be able to switch between tone like that so quickly and so effectively, I was really very impressed that this movie was able to pull that off. I was also transfixed by the fact that this really happened. The best part of this whole film is the end credits, because it does what you always want to see in a based on a true story film, is it shows you the real people that were involved. It shows pictures of moments from the film and then the real photo of the moment, and you see how closely they were able to, or Affleck was able to recreate those moments, and that's such a joy, and it really makes it land in such a more powerful way. I think the end epilogue sequence lasts a little too long and is wrapped up a little too tightly and easily. It feels a little cheesy at the end, and it lasts just a little long. I think we could have gotten out there much sooner, and it would have the weight of what had happened would have landed a little bit more instead of it being a little more raw. But overall, I found it to be a very enjoyable experience, and one I learned something. I was on the edge of my seat, and it's a movie about small moments of heroism. It's not, you know, Affleck is a CIA agent, but he's no Bourne. He's no James Bond. He's
an actual CIA
It's what
agent.
these guys really do. It's what these guys really do, and it's
that's what
but
being
it is
a
no,
spy is.
But it's no less heroic. I mean, they're real danger, and you feel it throughout. And he's able to keep that tension high, and you feel the stakes of being in that situation. And it certainly bears a lot of relevance to today. I mean, this is 1980, and this is so still exactly the things we're dealing with. So it bears a lot of relevance, and I think it's a movie that people get a lot out of.
You know what? I'll tell you what it reminded me of when you're talking about the tone and how it juggles both suspense, taut, thriller stuff with lighter comedy, was The Departed.
Right.
Which was hilarious at times, the funniest movie of that year, and then also like, oh my God.
Interesting. Yeah, I loved this movie. I was not super excited going in, you know, didn't think it was gonna be my kind of film, and there's a lot to love about this movie. I mean, I think it, you know, as you said, it's amazing that this was a real event and actually happened and unfolded in this way. And it's also really refreshing to see the CIA. I mean, it's almost sort of like All the President's Men or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's great to see the CIA when it's people's lives on the line, but it's also your job. You're at an office, this is what you do. You try to get people on the phone, you know what I mean? Like, it's not all guns a-blazing and blah-de-de-blah, you know what I mean? And it's political, and, you know, and that people are making decisions that, you know, affect the lives of individuals on a daily basis, because that's their job. Somebody has to make those decisions, you know what I mean? And there is no easy answer, you know, and I loved that it was so funny and interesting. I mean, it needed it, because if it was just the crazy shit that was happening in Iran, it would just soul suck you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there were some really great moments and really great performances. You know, the guy Scoot, I can't remember what his last name is. Scoot McNairy. I've become a huge fan of his. And he actually was in...
Monsters?
He was in Monsters, which is where I first saw him. But he was in a music video that I really love, and I can't remember what the name of it was. I was like looking for it. I'll have to figure it out later. But amazing, and I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from Monsters. It's crazy. And he's in an upcoming Brad Pitt film that I'm excited to see. And and all of the cast all of the cast at playing the 6 people that are trapped there were phenomenal. And again, I think the end of this movie does what I wish every single one of the end credits of anything that's based on anything would do, which is not just show you. I mean, they had the luxury of not just showing you pictures of the individual people that were playing the roles, which were almost spot on, but then you had the ability to say, like, because some of the shots, I was like, well, did that really happen? That looks like maybe it was just sort of like, you know, like the lady in her, what's it called, a hijab? Anyway, the like head dress with the gun in the Jeep, and I was like, oh boy, that felt really Hollywood.
Yeah.
Nope. Picture from 1980 of lady in a hijab and a Jeep with a gun, and then the one that they made, and it's like...
The technique that they were using to reassemble the people's faces from shredded material.
Yeah.
If you've ever complained about your homework in school, just be glad.
Try being a sweatshop child.
A Iranian sweatshop worker.
Yeah.
Could you imagine anything more awful?
Yeah, no, I can't.
That doesn't involve physical abuse.
So it's in one respect, it's very harrowing. In another respect, it's just super entertaining and charming. And in another respect, you know, it's cool to see that there are people who are doing their job protecting Americans abroad, and that it's not just jumping out of cars and shooting bad guys. That sometimes the mundane is just as terrifying and just as important, and you know, I loved it.
Just as exciting.
Yeah, I loved it. And the way they were able to keep the tension, I mean, I nearly had a heart attack the entire last half of this film.
Yeah.
And nothing really happened.
I nearly had a heart attack the first half of the movie.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
basically, it's a heart attack movie.
The interesting thing is, too, is that there isn't a lot of tense stuff. Nothing's as tense in the center as it is in the beginning and the end. Yeah. Yet my heart wouldn't stop. I'm like, it's fine, dude. It's fine. It's all good.
It's not happening now.
It's all. They're just figuring stuff out. Yet I couldn't
It's really an edge of the seat thriller. Literally, yeah.
You guys are such a strong director. He's so good.
I think he's my favorite. He's easily in my top 5 favorite working American filmmaker. I mean, he's just it. I mean, if you think of Paul Thomas Anderson, when he had only made Boogie Nights, Hard 8, and Magnolia, yes, he's my favorite director. I mean, so if I have to look at those 3 movies, I mean, I like The Town a little bit less, but
Gone Baby Gone,
The Town and
this,
and Argo.
Not a single miss.
Do you guys think, could you see it in winning best, would you, or if you were choosing, or is it up there for you?
I mean, it's on my list of top 5 easily right now.
Fortunately, it's in the same year as The Master, so probably not, but I think it's going to be nominated.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
Well, they nominate like 30 movies now. So
10.
I'm sure
well, yeah. Is that still the case this year? I thought they were.
I don't
know,
back. But no,
I think it's great, and the smallest parts in this movie are like amazing, great character actors that have been around forever. I mean, he gets anybody he wants, it seems. Yeah. And you know, Bryan Cranston is great in this, and just there's so many great people all over the place.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a very good movie. Yeah.
Argo, F yourself.
Are you gonna go?
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this, but first, I want to thank our sponsors, Jeff.
Gamefly is the perfect time of year to sign up for Gamefly, the largest online video game rental service in the world.
Yep.
They have over 8,000 new and classic titles from across all the consoles and handhelds, so anything you could possibly want to play or play on, they got your back, they got you covered.
They got your front, the sides.
They got you surrounded. Come out with your hands up.
Surrounded by success.
Exactly. And with plans as low as $15.95 a month, it's affordable and easy. You can rent up to 1 to 4 games at a time, keep them for as long as you like. Send them back when you're done. They send you the next one on your list. You don't have to worry about late fees, due dates, or shipping costs. It's the best way to play all the games.
Yep.
Just play all the games.
Yep.
Don't play one game.
Nope.
Play all the games.
What if I have a PC, Jeff?
You can play PC games too. They got unlimited PC play for the PC gamers in your life, and it's free with your Gamefly subscription. So that's awesome.
How do I go get it?
Well, the best thing is you don't even have to take my word for it. People hate my word. I understand. I've been known to lie. Here, you can test the truth of my statement by getting a 15-day free trial when you go to gamefly.com/TTRS. That extra T, of course, stands for test. Test the truth of my statement. Gamefly.com/TTRS.
Cool. Also,
test the truth
Rad
request
Show.
statement.
Test the truth request statement. Also, test your own skills.
I'm running on that platform.
I agree with that. Test your own skills, sending in a background, fans at totallyradshow.com.
Dan's running for Robot Emperor.
Join us tomorrow for our review of the game Dishonored.
Today's Twitter question sent in with the hashtag TRSQ was from Eric Carrington at Not My First Choice. War, prejudice, hunger, and disease are not allowed to be answers on this. Remove one thing from the world. What do you
so we
remove?
can't really do
I
anything
thought he was saying
worthwhile.
one of those
No,
things.
no.
No, he's saying don't do anything worthwhile.
like
Those are
cool.
obvious. You could save the world or remove one thing. That,
Yeah.
For me, it's
Like-
the
I know
prequel
what mine
trilogy of
is.
Star Wars.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know.
I
First, obviously, I would end war, prejudice, hunger, and disease.
Look, those
But
are
we
not
can't.
allowed. Those
We
aren't
can't.
allowed.
It's not. It wasn't our first choice.
Yeah.
I would probably remove, I don't know, natural disasters.
You can't.
I
That
feel about
falls under the heading of all that
Of what?
shit.
Of war, prejudice, hunger, disease?
It's war on the Earth is warring against us.
Yeah, basically he said do a silly
Nothing
one.
important?
Do nothing important. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
nothing of
Jeff's was
real
important.
of real gravity.
I would say maybe going along what Jeff said, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls would be nice to not
Yeah.
have.
Boy, we're
to be
just
able to
erasing
just-
George Lucas's errors.
Well, I'm sure that's.
What would
that's
you
a
do,
thing.
Dan? What would you take away from the world?
Besides
Roller skates?
disasters.
You wouldn't have broken your arm
Besides
back in third grade.
disasters. Maybe spiders. Although then we'd be inundated with horrible.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you know,
wanna-
you can't,
wanna-
you can't
that's
take
a
away any
butterfly's
part of
wings
nature.
flapping in the-
Yeah, you don't want to remove one thing. We might not exist.
What if all life hinges on the prequel trilogies being made?
Dude,
I don't
a lot
wanna
of
mess
people
with that
went out of
either.
work. A lot of people got out of
Well, I mean, digital cinema.
true.
I don't know if I could have ever done Portal or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jeff Cannata.
work. Oh! Thank you, Eric.